Hello Astro enthusiasts and other enthusiasts of maybe the same engine, the 4.3 liter V6 General Motors engine. Today is Sunday. It's January 21st, 2024. It's around 9:30 in the morning, 9:28. It's currently 64 degrees. When I got up this morning it was 50 degrees. I am not a fan of cold weather, so I let it warm up a little bit before I came out. I did a little bit of staging, but what I hope to accomplish today and document in today's video diary, which is the 21st of January, I hope to get the last two bolts out of the exhaust manifold on the left bank and get the head off the left bank, and depending on how well it goes for me today doing that, how long it takes, then get into beginning to take the oil pan loose. But before I do that, I'm going to take the opportunity to spin the oil pump and try to get some oil pressure and read it using the electronic. I can't read it with the mechanical because the mechanical has failed at the coupler. And if you look at the end of yesterday's video diary on the 20th, I did send a note to the manufacturer who says they guarantee satisfaction with this kit. And I've got 2 out of 3 ball bearings that are little tiny things in the quick disconnect coupler. So I'm hoping that they help me either replace the kit or let me send it back. And these ball bearings are so tiny. If anybody knows a source for the tiny ball bearings, there's one there. Tiny ball bearing. Takes 3 of them. Anybody knows a source, let me know. Maybe there's a kit or something online for ball bearings and I can repair this coupler myself. It seems to have some kind of spring in it. And there's the coupler. And I guess I bumped it or something and the ball bearings popped out. And I found 2 out of 3, but excuse me while I reposition. 9:31 a.m. on the 21st. You look at yesterday's video log, you see I spent time and made that one into a video production, and thanks to the support of the fans of the channel and other comments from the Astro groups, I found a tool for 10 bucks at AutoZone that will allow me to spin the oil pump without affecting the camshaft. It's a prime tool, and any good engine builder should, or before you start the engine for the first time, you should check the oil pressure using a tool like that. Now, finding the right tool was a problem because there's an awful lot of them available for $10 or $20 online. But because the Astro group, an enthusiast named Tom, helped me with a link to AutoZone and told me about it, so I ordered it. I'm going to pick it up today, and then maybe later today we'll spin the oil pump and see if I get any oil pressure. And unfortunately I can't check it with this mechanical gauge like I wanted to. But I did want to mention that I put some white lithium grease on the door because I don't want this one to break, and it was getting stiff. And now it's working a lot better since I sprayed the mechanism with that white lithium grease. So there's a tip for you. I like this because it's not as nasty if you get it on you, and it does a good job, this white lithium grease. And I did even my new my new latch that I put on the driver's side and mechanism and all that, it was still a little stiff, so I lubricated everything liberally with the white lithium grease, and works beautifully now. Just velvet smooth compared to before. It got stiff and it broke, and oh, that was a lot of work to replace that. And people got mad at me, the purists in the group, that I drilled a couple holes in the door to replace that mechanism, but they said it's not necessary. But I don't have a magic wand. Maybe they do. But I use this magnet tool, magnet on a stick, trying to find the ball bearings, the missing one, and I couldn't find it, but I did find a washer that was underneath there. So again, people, I'm not monetized until I have 4,000 subscribers, and I have 350 right now. So thank you to my 350 subscribers, and give me a thumbs up if you liked anything on this video. Next thing I'm going to do is get the last 2 bolts out of the exhaust, and then pull that manifold. It's already loose on the bottom where it goes to the header on the exhaust system, and once that's out of the way, then I'll do the 7 big bolts on the top of the head and the 6 little bolts on the side, and get that head off. Now it's kind of interesting what good condition for 30 years and 210,000 miles this head is in on the valves. I always ran premium grade or Rec 90 gas, and there's hardly any carbon buildup in the cylinders, and I always did the oil changes every 30,000 miles. Anytime the oil looked dirty or 30,000 miles, I'd change the oil and filter, and usually did it myself, and that seemed to really help the cylinder walls. And I don't know what I'm going to find when I get the oil pan off. I suspect I'm going to find a something causing rod knock. That's what I expect to find when I get this apart. Again, thanks for watching. Dennis, note to self, you need a longer deep well socket for spark plug. I've always fought to get the spark plugs in and out of the 1994 Astro van. This one's a little bit better because you can put a wrench on the back of it and turn it, but it's still too short for the plug, because once the thing is seated on the plug, it's covering the threads, but I usually push it down a little too deep, and then I can't get it down a little too deep, and then I can't get the ratchet in it. So either use a regular 5/8 inch or I don't know how many millimeter socket, or use, and I also don't like this sponge in the middle. It makes it harder to get it on and off. It may protect you from breaking the plug, but I usually remove it if it's giving me trouble. Anyway, I need a better tool for the 4.3 liter V6 GM, because once you have this, the exhaust manifold on and the tins for the spark plugs, it just makes a real pain to get plugs in or out. Hello Astro van fans, this is still the 21st of January 2024, 10:28 AM. It's my video diary about my 1994 Astro van. I need to say a few more words about how difficult it was to get out this dang number 3 cylinder backside stud. Was really difficult. Where'd it go? Dang it. Anyway, I got the tins off, and I still have the front bolt on number 3 to do. The back bolt, the stud is off. Anyway, the stud holds a oh, there it is. Would it been a dog, it would have bit me. That goes on the back side of number 3 cylinder, because it holds not only the exhaust, but on the threaded side on the top of it, on the top of the stud, it has another nut that holds the air conditioning support bracket, and that goes on the back side of number 3, and there's like no clearance. So I had to use to check the size, I'd use a 14 millimeter spanner, and then I had to worry it off with a 14 millimeter version. Well, this is the wrong size, but you get the idea. I had to use this in the 14 millimeter to get it to break loose, and it's not as good as a deep well socket, but my deep well sockets wouldn't fit, and my standard size sockets were too shallow once you put the extension in. Anyway, it was a devil to get that one in or out. And how they did it at the factory, I assume they put the manifolds on before they put the engine in. And they probably did everything on a subframe, so it wasn't a problem for them, but it is a problem for me. So note to self, you need to worry that one in and out and give yourself plenty of time if you have to. I still have the front bolt to go on number 3, and then the spark plugs to get out. You've already seen my rant about needing a better or deeper spark plug tool to get the plugs in or out. I'm going to try next using a standard size deep well 5/8 socket, see if that's any better. And I have to run some errands into Homestead, and I'm going to pick up that that oil pump primer tool at AutoZone if it's ready for pickup. Should be. They said it would be ready first thing this morning, and it's already 10:31 a.m. Again, audience, thanks for watching. Hello, Astro LT fans. It's 11 a.m. on January 21st, Sunday, 2024. 11 a.m. I got the last bolt on the exhaust manifold side, which was on number 3. Did the back one first and got that miserable stud off. Then the front one, and it's the same rule for the front one as the other ones on cylinder number 1, front and back, is crack it loose with a 14 millimeter impact socket with a 1/2 inch drive, and then switch to the smaller drive so you got room to back the bolt out without hitting the firewall. So that tip said, I'm going to take the time right now to get out the NOx sensor and another sensor. I don't know what it is. I think it's a coolant sensor. I'm not sure, but it's on the side left bank around cylinder number 2. Behind it there's a some kind of sensor. And gang, if you Astro LT fans or people watching, if you know of a better way to get these plugs in and out, let me know as far as recommending what tools to use. This time what I did was I used my well, let me talk about the sensor first. There's some kind of sensor here about mid-head above the NOx sensor, and I don't know what it is. I also got to release the 10 millimeter for the spark plug wire supports. There's 1 or 2 10 millimeter bolts holding those to the head, I think. But the number 1 spark plug is stubborn. I couldn't get the wire off like usual, and because I couldn't get the wire off, I couldn't get the plug out. So I'm now that I got room with the head, with the exhaust manifold out of the way, I can maybe get a screwdriver or a pry bar in there to get the wire to pop off the plug without cutting up the back of my hands like I normally do. Now, as far as this what I did to get the plug out is, this isn't ideal, but I used this with a wrench, with a oh, let's see what fits it, 13/16. Yeah, I did this. Okay, I did a 13/16 on the back of the spark plug socket, and both of these have an accommodation This one's a different size. It's not a 13/16, it's something else, smaller, probably a 3/4. And let's see if this slips on there. No. Alright, anyway, frustrating getting these plugs in and out. And if anybody knows better tools, please post a comment. But give me a link so I know. Just don't say this or that. Give me a link so I know where to buy it, please. And anyway, I'm going to stop the tape here because I really want to get these sensors out and then start cracking head bolts once I got everything out of the way on the left side of the left head, the left bank. And after that, we'll talk some more about what we're going to do next. But I do need to bag and tag a few things, so I need to slow down. Plus, I got errands to run in Homestead. I want to pick up that tool for oil pressure. And I'm trying to leave everything connected so I can do the oil pressure trick and see if I have any oil pressure with the spinner, the primer tool. I doubt it. I think this thing is puked on the lower end. And I don't know what puked it, except, you know, the theory I said earlier, you know, when I was working on the fuel injection, somehow I washed out the lower end. I don't know. I took really good care of this machine over the years, maintenance-wise. So, thanks for watching. Okay, I used a 21mm flare wrench to get out one sensor. It looks like some kind of coolant sensor. And the other one is the knocked sensor. And I used the 22mm socket, 1/2-inch drive, to get out the knock sensor. So knock sensor's out. This sensor, whatever it is, looks like some kind of temperature sensor. It's got two, let's see, 2 pins. 2 pins on the connector. And I don't know what it's for, but it was on the left bank below the knock sensor, and that's what the knock sensor looks like. And knock sensor has a single terminal and ground for knock knock knock. Goes to the computer. It prevents you from, supposed to protect your engine from detonation, what have you. So we're moving along. Next I'll get these 10mm bolts holding the spark plug wires loose. And then I'm going to go inside, take a break, I think, before I start attacking, get the head bolts. 7 big head bolts and then 6 little ones. I thought it was 5 and 6, but it's the other way around. It's 7 big ones and 6 little ones. And those are a pain because they're really long bolts, and cracking them loose takes the big breaker bar. Anyway, audience, Astro van enthusiast and others, thanks for watching. Okay, I got the 10mm bolt out. That's the retainer for the #1 spark plug holder deal. Spark plug wire holder. And should have taken some pictures of that. But anyway, here it is. And with the 10mm bolt, of course everything's in the way of the camera. 10mm bolt that holds this bracket for 1 spark plug wire. 1. Oh. And then I did the one in the back. Now for 2 and 3 are cylinders 3, and 5. Anyway, I had this short camera. I had this short 10mm deep well impact. It's not super long. I've got a super long one too, I showed you in the other diaries. But this short one was good for things that were too long. You know, it had to be like porridge. It had to be just right. Not too long, not too short. And this fit the bill for that left bank to get that holder for #1 cylinder loose. And now I'm going to work on getting the holder loose for the other, for cylinders. Cylinders. Problem is the monitor's one place and the camera's on another, but I'm going to try to point at it. That's the bolt there. the 10mm that holds the spark plug wire holder for cylinders 3 and 5 on the left bank. So beware that you're gonna have trouble getting those out unless you get the right length 10mm socket to get on there, because you can't get a wrench on there or anything else. The socket works best, in my opinion. And it's just an opinion, people. I'm not telling you how you have to do it. I'm not even saying I'm doing it right. This is a documentary, a video diary of how Dennis did it. Thanks for watching. And pause the camera. Hello audience, I'm back again, 11:33, 1/21/2024. It's a Sunday. Video diary of somebody who really wants to get an Astro van back in good nick, as the British say. Alright, well, I got number 1 spark plug out, and I got the exhaust manifold out of the way on both sides. I'm not going to try to take them out because they can sit there and they're not bothering anything. I'm going to go around to the inside for a minute to show you a better view that I was once I got all these senders and spark plug wires and all of this rigmarole out of the way. I had a clean shot on the left bank to get the number 1 out and push away the exhaust manifold. Of course, it was loosened on the bottom, and yes, I have a bad motor mount on the left bank side, on the driver's side. Known about that for a while, but it just wasn't important compared to all the other problems I needed to get sorted. Now, I'm going to leave the electrical cables in place until I finish the oil pressure checks using that tool I'm going to pick up at AutoZone. And after I run my errands, well, I need to take a break, and it's almost lunchtime, and then after I clean up and take some notes, I'll run my errands. I like to bag and tag as I go on before I forget what I did or how I did it, and then we'll attack this left bank head. It should be almost ready to come out when I get the 7 big bolts and the 6 little bolts on the side out. And I'll tell you about this relay later. I'll make that a separate video. But that's an improvement I did so I don't burn out ignition switches anymore when I put it on high on the AC. I have big plans for this van after it's debugged, after all its problems get sorted. Again, thanks for watching. Okay, it's 6:14 in the evening, 6:14 Eastern Standard Time. It's January 21st. It's a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, 69 degrees and dropping. 2024, January 21st, 2024, 6:14 in the evening, Eastern Time. Okay, I got a little more work done. Looks like this tool I picked up at AutoZone is going to be a winner. I haven't actually used it yet, but we will in the future, and I'll get you the part number on it then. I got all 7 bolts cracked off of the top head bolts. I got to make a correction to what I said earlier. These are 16mm, and I desperately need a 16mm impact deep well socket. So note to self, 16mm deep well impact socket. I have a 16mm impact socket that's not, you know, standard size. And these bolts on the end, these are 72 on the end and 92mm on the center 6. So a total of 7. So 92 and 72. 92 is the long one, 72 is the short one. I started to crack loose the lower bolts, and guess what, gang? One dropped right into the exhaust pipe, and I must recover it somehow. And it's really frustrating because, you know, what are the odds of that happening? But if you look straight down, and I don't know if I can do this or not, but straight down you see the pipe, and one of these short bolts here one of the shorties dropped into, on the side of the head, on the left bank, dropped into the pipe. So I'm going to have to recover that somehow, and I don't know how. I don't think I have anything that can blow on the tailpipe and get it to shoot out, haha. So I'll try some magnets on a stick or something like that. But I absolutely got to get that out because I don't want that getting into the catalytic converter, that bolt. So, this is the update. Dennis John Sietsma Productions, Dennis Sietsma, Homestead, Florida, USA. This is a video diary. It is not a how-to, because I show you my mistakes. This is a diary, a documentary, so I can remember how to put this thing back together. Again, what mistakes I made, and I'll annotate those in my notes for talking on future videos. But anyway, you see one of the short bolts I got out there. But I'm really frustrated that I dropped one down the exhaust. Oh boy, I hate problems like that. Do-it-yourself work can result in death or injury. Death or injury, so if you do any do-it-yourself work, you do it at your own risk. And follow all safety procedures, gloves, eye protection, jack stands, working jacks, all the good stuff that mechanics use to stay injury-free, hopefully. And when you consider all the mechanical work going on around the world, you know somebody's having a bad day somewhere in an accident because they forgot to do something. So anyway, it's at your own risk, but I like doing this work myself because then I can control the materials and how it's done. And boy, I started a dumpster fire. I didn't mean to, but on one of the Astro van or engine forums about priming the oil pump. I didn't think it'd be controversial to prime the pump before you start an engine or use the primer to test an oil pump. But say, oh, I just crank right up. And other people say, oh dude, you can cause all kinds of engine damage if you don't have oil pressure and prime it before you start it. So that's, on all of the shows I watch on television, they never prime the engines, but I would think it would be the best practice because it, you know, takes just a short time long, and then you know you have absolutely got oil pressure before you go to start the engine. Plus the lifters, if they're hydraulic lifters, they'll be all lubed up real good. It's kind of like putting oil in an oil filter when you change it and let it soak in and be full of oil when you put it on, or at least half full if you're able. Yeah, those are all things people argue about on the internet. So, thanks for watching. Okay, it's 7:38 at night on the 21st of January, Sunday, 2024. Video diary, video documentary. I got all the bolts out, ready to try to pry the head loose. I have one more thing I got to get loose. But I'm going to let it sit overnight with penetrating fluid. That last bolt for the ground going to the left bank head, I'm going to leave that alone for now, let it sit with penetrator, try to get that off tomorrow maybe. As to the bolt that dropped down the muffler, I got an idea. I'm going to break this tool to get the magnet and then attach the magnet firmly with duct tape or something onto a fish tape and try to recover that bolt using the strong magnet on this tool. This tool sold many places, so it's not easy to come by. I hate breaking it, but I need the magnet off it. Now I had a bit of luck. I did recover, believe it or not. I think I got all of the little steel balls for the oil pressure gauge quick release coupler. They had gone down to, oh, there's one more there. They had gone down there and stuck in that corner. I don't know if that's on camera or not very well. Let's see if you can see the last one. Yeah, maybe you can see it. But all of it went down there. Let's see if I can recover that with the magnet before I break it. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. It looks like a ball bearing. Yeah, I think I got it. Let's see if I got it. Yep, it's there. If that's a ball bearing. Let's see, where's your finger, Dennis? Ball bearing. Looks like a ball bearing. I don't know. Okay, anyway, I'll get that in a little bit. But I'm going to come over the other side. You know, this vexes me. I should have stuffed a rag down that exhaust. But I never thought that I would score a basket into the exhaust pipe, dropping a bolt down into, you know, I don't want that to get in the catalytic converter, so I have to recover it somehow. I see people that they drop stuff in engines and then they say, okay, you see I got all the bolts out here. They drop stuff out of engines and then they say, oh, it'll blow out. No, it won't. It'll cause damage to the piston rings. Let's see if I can pry this head loose after 30 years. 30 years. Maybe, maybe not. I think I got all the bolts out. The other side came off pretty easy without too much struggle. So, let's see. I'll get into a different position here, maybe. Okay. And I don't want to damage anything. Let's try to force it with the crowbar from that direction. There. And force the head. Get it to come off those pins. And I got to be careful not to cut any wires with my pry bar, because there's wires right there that could be cut. Anyway, I'll struggle with this later, maybe, if I can't get it to come off now. I don't have real good pry points here. Anyway, I don't know. The electrical thing here is loose for the most part. And I don't want it, the last thing I do today to be break something else. That's the way it is, though. Sometimes you get in a hurry and you want it to come out. Anyway, you hear me grunting and struggling, trying to. And one of the guys says, "Oh, take out the V6, put in a V8." I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I don't have money for that." All right, it's starting to move now. All right, I hope it ain't cut any wires accidentally. Grunting and it's starting to move. After 30 years of being bolted, you can see it moving. All right, I'll worry this thing out tomorrow. I'm done for the night. And as always, Astro Van fans, other people that are fans of the 4.3 liter V6 engine, thank you for watching. And got any tips or ideas? Let me know how I can get this engine out of here. It's on a subframe. I don't want to cut it. I would rather not. I'm going to talk to shops and see if they got lifts, or, you know, if I can pay them to get the lump out of here, drop the subframe, give me the subframe and then the truck back, or put the truck in the body shop, or I don't know. But I stopped at AutoZone and I priced an engine completely, you know, but I wanted to keep this engine because it's in such good shape as far as the cylinders are concerned, the block and everything. You know, I change the oil and filter all the time on it. So anyway, this is not a how-to. Do-it-yourself work can be dangerous. Death or injury can result. Do it at your own risk or don't do it. Get estimates. You see, it's an awful lot of labor, even for, you know, you wouldn't think it would be this bad. Back in the old days, a truck, you'd lift the hood and unbolt the transmission and get something like a gantry crane or or a lift of some kind, and you could pluck that engine out and work on it. But this Astro van's on a subframe, and a lot of modern trucks are like that too. Well, I won't get into all that, but I used to maintain a lot of vehicles when I worked for the government because I knew a little bit about it and I didn't mind doing it. But anyway, Astro van fans, if you see that connector for the vacuum, if you know where I can get one, let me know for the connector. And thanks for watching.